Hello everyone, good evening guys, and welcome to the YouTube channel of PRATHAM Test Prep. Myself Juhi Sharma, and here we are with yet another session of current affairs wherein we'll cover the current affairs from the 4th of September to the 10th of September. Now, if you guys are not already aware, these current affairs are a part of a series known as Current Affairs SAMVAD. Yes, Pratham has this particular series on this YouTube channel named as Current Affairs SAMVAD, and in these SAMVAD episodes what we do is we cover the current affairs of the past 2 to 3 days. Now this particular series, the episode of this particular series happens on every Monday and Friday at 8:30 p.m. So these sessions are extremely important if you are planning to prepare for undergraduate entrances like CLAT, AILET, which are supposed to happen in the month of December, or entrances like CUET, Christ, Jamia, Xavier's, and a lot of entrances wherein current affairs is a part of. These sessions will be very helpful for you. So if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, so what are you waiting for? Please hit that moment, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, and do give this video a thumbs up. And apart from these current affairs sessions, Pratham also provides other sessions such as vocabulary sessions, such as legal darpan, which are specifically curated for the law aspirants. And apart from that, we do have newspaper analysis wherein we cover the important articles every day, and these newspaper analysis sessions happens in the morning slot. Alright, so yes, I hope all this information has been put across, and without wasting too much of time, let's quickly see the first news of the day. Let's quickly see what will happen from the 4th to the 10th. But as a drill goes, what we need to do is we need to actually have a look at the quote for the day. And the quote for today is, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character is actually the goal of true education. So education is not only about intelligence, it is about your character as well, it is about your personality as well. And education actually teaches a person how to think logically, how to think very extensively, and apart from that, how to think critically as well. Alright, so let's quickly see the first news of the day. The first news is about National Teachers Day. Now if you have a close look at it, here you will find the image of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, right? So 5th of September is observed as National Teachers Day, and in this particular day, basically we observe this day to mark the birth anniversary of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, right? Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, on his birth anniversary, we mark this particular day. Now, it is not only about teachers, it is about educators, it is about research scholars, it is about professors in India who have made tremendous contribution in the field of education, right? So the very first time this particular Teachers Day, right, the National Teachers Day, was observed on September 5th, 1962. September 5th, 1962 was the first time that the first Teachers Day was observed. Now you need to understand there is a difference. If the question comes on National Teachers Day, right, therein they are asking you about the Teachers Day which is being observed in India, and it is being observed on the 5th of September. But there is another day which is about World Teachers Day. Okay, now World Teachers Day is observed on October 5th, right? So how can you memorize this? September 5th is what? September 5th is National Teachers Day. October 5th is World Teachers Day. Now what we know is, we know that Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan ji was the first Vice President of India, right? He was the first Vice President, and from during which year that his tenure was from 1952 to 1962. For 10 years he was the Vice President of India, and later from 62 to 67, for the next 5 years, he became the President of India. Alright, I hope all this information is clear to you. Now moving further to another important day that we have is International Literacy Day. Yes, we do have this day as well, wherein we have to raise awareness about the importance of literacy. Okay, that why literacy is important. Okay, literacy is not only something which helps us to read and write, rather literacy is a matter of dignity. Literacy is a matter of understanding your human rights, exercising your human rights, right? And overall, if we club the literacy of a society, it will help us to, that will be a agenda towards a sustainable and a more literate society as well. So, International Literacy Day is not only about raising awareness of how a person reads or writes, rather it is about it's a matter of dignity, it's a matter of understanding and exercising your human rights also. It's a matter of clubbing together the entire society and make it more literate and make it a more sustainably functioning society, right? So that is why this International Literacy Day is observed. Now, as I've told you that why this day is observed, and now this is international, so this is observed across the globe. Okay, all countries observe that, and this is observed on the 8th of September. Okay, now moving further, what you should know is, apart from which date, right, which date a particular day is observed, one more thing that you should be aware of is the theme, and make sure that you know the latest theme. No entrance exam will ask you that identify the theme for International Literacy Day of 2021 or 2022. No entrance exam will ask you that. All the entrance exam will ask you the current theme, 2023 theme, right? So, International Literacy Day theme is promoting literacy for a world in transition, building the foundation of sustainable and peaceful societies. This is what the theme for International Literacy Day is, which is observed on the 8th of September. Okay. Now, let me just quickly tell you about when did this first, the first mention of this particular day happened, that the world should observe such a day, International Literacy Day. So this happened when there was a conference which was being held in Tehran, which is in Iran, and that conference was held in the year 1965. Okay, it was in the year 1965 that the first time this particular thing was mentioned, right? The idea of the Global Literacy Day or the World Literacy Day or the International Literacy Day was initially, or the very first time it was mentioned, right? So at that particular point of time, there was this particular conference, and this particular conference was the World Conference of the Education Ministers, right? And their agenda was eradication of illiteracy, okay? And this particular conference was being held in Tehran, Iran in the year 1965, and since then, the very next year, since 1966, this particular day is observed. Okay, so 1966, the very next year, September 8 was observed as the World Literacy Day. Alright, the first Literacy Day was observed on this particular date. Right, now moving further to the next news, we have Uday Kotak. Yes, Uday Kotak, he is related to Kotak Mahindra Bank. Right, so Uday Kotak has resigned as the CEO of Kotak Mahindra Bank. Okay, now Uday Kotak was not only the CEO, he was the MD and CEO. Alright, he was the MD and CEO, and he has stepped down with effect from 1st of September. Okay, now his tenure was about to get over on 31st of December this particular year, but he stepped down 4 months prior. Okay, he stepped down. Apparently his tenure was it was supposed to be end in the month of December, the 31st of December, but he did what? He stepped down as the MD and CEO of the Kotak Mahindra Bank. Now the person who was the joint managing director, yes, his name was Deepak Gupta. So Deepak Gupta, who was the joint MD, he will, carry out all the duties and responsibilities until December 31st. So what they have is जो 4 months का gap है, right? You know, as I've told you that 4 months ahead, prior to 4 months, what Uday Kotak did? He stepped down, right? He gave up as his role as the MD and CEO. So to fill those 4 months ka gap, there is this MD in Kotak Mahindra who's the joint MD, the joint managing director, Mr. Deepak Gupta. He will fulfill all the duties and responsibilities of the MD and CEO, and he will do it till December 31, because we know that the MDs and CEOs are subject to approval from the RBI, right? So these are subject to approval from the RBI and the members of the bank. Okay, so it's not like an instant decision, okay, that somebody steps down today, tomorrow the RBI will, you know, approve somebody's names, and the banks, the member of the banks will approve somebody's names. No, it doesn't happen like that, right? So to fill that time period, interimly we can say that the joint MD will carry out the functions of the MD and CEO as well for the time being till 31st of December, and until then they will get the they might get the approval of RBI also, that who will be the next CEO, but for these 4 months it will be Mr. Deepak Gupta. Alright, now we know that Kotak Mahindra Bank is an Indian banking and financial service company. The headquarters are in Mumbai. It was established in the year 1985, and initially the name was Kotak Capital Management Finance Limited was the name of it. Alright, I hope this is clear to all of you. Now moving further, we have the news about the 43rd ASEAN Summit, right? The 43rd ASEAN Summit. Now this particular 43rd ASEAN Summit is actually, first of all, you should be aware that what is ASEAN. ASEAN is actually an association of Southeastern Asian nations. The full form of ASEAN is Association of Southeastern Asian Nations. Alright, now it is a regional group, yes, which consists of few countries. Okay, what are the countries? So the name of the countries are Brunei, Cambodia, we have Indonesia, we have Laos, we have Malaysia, we have Myanmar, we have Philippines, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam. So these 10 nations are the members of ASEAN. Now ASEAN is a regional group. To do what? To promote security, cooperation, right, economic stability amongst its 10 member nations. And what all these 10 member nations are? Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam. Okay. Now ASEAN was, where are the headquarters of ASEAN? The headquarters of ASEAN is in Jakarta. Jakarta is in Indonesia. We should be aware of that. And the 43rd ASEAN Summit, right, was held under whose leadership? Under the leadership of the President of Indonesia, and it is Joko Widodo. Alright. Now, when was the first time ASEAN was established? Or they can ask you that what is the establishment day of ASEAN? This is 8th of August in the year 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. Okay, and this particular day, let me just write it down for all of you. This particular day is also known as the ASEAN Day. Okay, this is also known as what? This is also known as the ASEAN Day. Right? Now, who were the founding fathers? Founding fathers were Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. These were the founding fathers. Right? Where are the secretariat? The secretariat is in Jakarta, Indonesia. Right? What is the motto of ASEAN? One vision, one identity, one community. That is the motto. Alright. India is not a member. India is the dialogue partner. You should be aware of that. If somebody asks you a question, is India a member of ASEAN? No. India is just a dialogue partner. It is not a member of ASEAN. Okay, so like India, we have US, we have China, we have Japan, Australia. All these are the dialogue partners. Okay, now moving further to the next news we have is, let me just, alright, the next news is about the NASSCOM, right? What is NASSCOM? NASSCOM is the National Association of Software and Service Companies. Okay, all the software and service companies comes under NASSCOM, right? It is what? It is a national association for that. It is non-governmental association basically, okay, of the Indian technological industry. Primarily it serves that. Infosys, TCS, Wipro, all these that, okay. NASSCOM was founded in the year 1988 and it is a non-profit organization. Anant Maheshwari was the president of NASSCOM, the former president or the chairperson of NASSCOM, right? He was also the former president of Microsoft India, but now Anant Maheshwari tenure gets over and now the new chairperson of NASSCOM is Mr. Rajesh Nambiar. Okay, initially it was Anant Maheshwari, now Mr. Rajesh Nambiar is the new chairman and managing director of NASSCOM. Now, as I've told you that it is a software and service company. Okay, it compiles or it consists of the Indian technological industry, right? I have given you the examples of that. So what they do is they select people from those industries only, from those companies only. For example, initially or earlier it was Mr. Anant Maheshwari. He was related to which company? He was related to Microsoft, right? Now the person who has been appointed is who? It is Mr. Rajesh Nambiar, and he's related to, he is from Cognizant India. Okay, so it has to be from those companies only who are a part of NASSCOM, right? Now moving further, we have exercise Bright Star 23. Now why 23? Because of the year 2023. Okay, now this is a military exercise which was held in Cairo Air Base. Now this Cairo Air Base is in Egypt. Okay, Bright Star 2023. Thank you so much, Prazay. Now the very first time that, this is for the very first time actually, that Indian Air Force is participating in Bright Star. Okay, and apart from Indian Air Force, there are the contingents of US, right? There are the forces of Saudi Arabia, there are the forces of Qatar and Greece as well. Okay, Indian Air Force के जो contingent है, it may basically we have the 5 Mirage 29, 2 IL-78, 2 C-130 and 2 C-70. So these are basically what? These are basically the names of aircrafts. Alright, name of aircrafts. Yes. Now what is the objective? Objective is to practice, to plan, to execute joint operations, and apart from that to form those bilateral bondings across borders, to have those interactions, right, and to figure out those strategic relationships or the strategic diplomatic relationships between the participating nations. So this is what the whole military exercises are all about, right? Prazay, one thing that I would suggest is give as many mocks as you can. This is just, you know, an advice that I can give you. Give as many mocks as you can and practice as many critical reasoning questions as you can, because trust me, the more you practice, the more you will understand the nuances of it, and the more you will get the knack of it. That is the only thing, Praza, that you could do. Do not feel demotivated if you are not getting the questions right. Do not feel that, right? One thing which, one tip I would like to give you, which students often neglect, is they give the paper, they give the mock, they attempt questions, they figure out, okay, that these questions answers do not match, the answers are not correct, right? But one thing which they forget, and which is a very important step, is the next step after that. That what you have done out of those incorrect questions, those questions that you have attempted as incorrect, have you figured out that what are the right answers of it? Have you understood what mistakes have you made? So one thing, Praza, that you should absolutely do is, once you are getting the wrong answers, right, just figure out what is the right answer of it. Now you need to understand whether it is a conceptual mistake that you are making, or it is something which has to do with a silly error. Okay, you need to understand that, you need to figure out that. Another thing that you should be aware of, that from which section you are making such a mistake. right? So once you figure out that, you will understand that what is your weak section, what is a strong section, and basis that you can actually, you know, practice more questions. You can actually increase your accuracy. All right, so make sure that you analyze your mistakes, because analyzing them is supremely important. Just attempting wrong questions and understanding कि okay, this is wrong, ये मेरा गलत हो रहा है, ये section is something which I'm weak in, will not help. The remedial solution to this is that go back, understand what kind of mistakes you're making, figure it out, not only the right answer, but analyze. Okay, and this can be done only and only when you have practiced, let's say 20 questions or 40 questions at a time. Alright, so this is how you need to do that. Moving further, we have India's first underground transformer unveiled in Bangalore. Yes, जो आपके इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के जो ट्रांसफॉर्मर्स होते हैं, राइट, वो बैंगलोर में पहला आपका अंडरग्राउंड ट्रांसफॉर्मर है. इट इज इन मल्लेश्वरम. वेरी इनोवेटिव इनिशिएटिव, राइट. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड और सिटी की जो सिविक बॉडी है जो उसका है. बेसिकली व्हाई दे हैव डन दिस underground transformer, so the priority is safety of citizens. That is the first priority, of course, but apart from that, the second priority that they have mentioned is the preservation of city's aesthetic appeal. What they want is कि Bangalore का जो aesthetic appeal है वो आपका बेकार नहीं होना चाहिए by putting transformers जगह जगह, right? So what they said is कि okay, हम underground transformers रखेंगे. Aesthetically city should look appealing, it should look pleasing, okay, apart from the safety of residents as well. All right, now moving further to the next news of the day, we have about G20 summit. Yes, all over the news you were seeing this G20 summit. India had the presidency of G20 summit for this particular year, and India has now handed over the presidency of it as well. So the G20 summit happened on the 9th and 10th of September. We know that Delhi was closed, it was high security was there in Delhi, and it was the 18th meeting of G20, which was organized at the Bharat Mandapam Convention Center, which is nothing, which is just Pragati Maidan. Okay, in Pragati Maidan this has happened in New Delhi. So this year the chair of G20 was India. Okay. Now, let me just quickly take you through all the headlines or all the important takeaways for G20. So the first one was between India and Bangladesh. They had signed 3 MOUs. Okay, India and Bangladesh has signed 3 MOUs, wherein the one is related to the Corporation of Digital Payment Mechanism, which is our NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, right, our UPI system basically, and a lot of countries have earlier also shown interest in adopting the digital UPI interface of India. So yes, an MOU was signed on that between the Bangladesh Bank, the Central Bank of Bangladesh, and NPCI. The second one was, of course, the renewal of the cultural exchange program between India and Bangladesh, and that will happen from 23 to 25. And the third MOU was, between BARC, the Bangladesh Agriculture Research Council, and ICR, the Indian Council of Agricultural Research. MOU was signed between them related to the agriculture and its research and development. All right. Now, the next takeaway for this is the G20 countries. Basically, if you're aware that this year the theme was One Earth, One Family, One Future, One Planet, right? So they focused on fuel, they focused on planet, they focused on sustainability, they focused on SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, that all countries should come together and should take multiple steps for fulfilling the SDGs. So G20 nations, they committed that they will phase down the unabated coal power and they will eliminate the inefficient fossil fuel subsidies as well. Also, now it is known as G20, but what they have said is, they have said that apart from the 19 nations and 20th we have is the European Union. Apart from the 19 nations and the European Union, the African Union also will be a permanent member of G20. So now the name is not G20, it is G21 actually, wherein we have 19 nations including India, and then we have European Union, and then we have the African Union. Now African Union has 55 nations in it, right? Now India and UK, Mr. Rishi Sunak and India had discussed the growing ties between FTA, India, UK, FTAs are the free trade agreement, and we have discussed about it in one of our previous sessions, right? Now there were these rumors that name of the India was supposedly to get changed to Bharat, but no such nothing official like that happened. Apart from that, India has also launched the Global Biofuels Alliance, and they have urged actually that all the G20 nations should join that initiative, and this will actually increase ethanol blending with petrol to 20%. Apart from that, very important, now India has handed over the presidency, the G20 presidency, to Brazil. Yes, the Brazilian president, Mr. Lula da Silva, has officially taken the G20 presidency. So India has given it to Brazil. India ko diya tha Indonesia ne, right? And India will continue to hold its presidency till 30th of November 2023, and Brazil will start it from the 1st of December. Alright, so that is the tentative timeline of it. Moving further, let's quickly take you through once again. However, we have discussed it multiple times, a lot of times now, but let me just quickly take you through the background of G20. G20 is basically the group of 20 nations, now the 21, but yes, we'll refer it as G20 only for better understanding. It's a group of 20 nations in which one is the European Union, and these nations are basically the most world's largest economies, including in the developing nations, in industrialization as well, right? And these nations gives out 90% of GWP, which is gross world product, 75 to 80% of international trade, 2/3 of the global population, and roughly around half of the world's land area. So this is why G20 and all these nations are. For the very first time, it was founded in the year 1999. A lot of economic crises were rising in the world, and as a response of that, these G20 was found, a group was formed, right? And every year the presidency is taken over by some country, and G20 actually, it was India's turn. So the theme for G20 is Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. Okay, now there are 19 countries, as I've told you, one European Union and one African Union. Now let me just quickly tell you all the 19 countries. We have Argentina, we have Australia, we have Brazil, we have Canada, we have China, we have France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, which was earlier known as Turkey, UK, United Kingdom, USA, European Union, and now the African Union. Alright, so this was all about G20. And with this, we have covered all the important news that have happened in these recent days from the 4th of September to the 10th of September. Thank you so much guys for staying tuned. I shall be meeting you super soon in the next video session, hopefully on Monday. Till then, take care guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Pratham Test Prep, and yes, take care. Give this video a thumbs up. Bye bye guys.